A lot of times the word function is used without a real concrete understanding of what it means. So first, just in words, a function is something that assigns an input to a specific output, like this. So all a function is a rule, and it takes something in, it applies the rule to it, and it spits something out. Now, a real-world example of, say, a function would be the rule that assigns you to your student ID number. Take a look. So here are 5 students, and the function is going to be the rule that assigns their name to a student ID number. So, for example, if you input Jimmy through the function, his student ID number is 135. Then likewise for the rest of these. So there we go. Each student is assigned a particular student ID number. Notice that not any particular student is assigned 2 different student ID numbers. That wouldn't make sense. When you go to the registrar and they say, "What's your ID number?" you don't give them 2 different numbers, you just give them 1 number. So remember, a function is a rule that assigns an input to a specific output. To put this in a picture form, look at this. So our function sends A and assigns it the output of 2. Our function takes the input B and spits out 3. Our function takes the input C and spits out 1, and D and spits out 4. So there's how you could represent a function. Now, something to look out for that's going to make one of these not a function is if you had something like this. Notice that now we have an input of D, and its output is 3 and 4. So our input doesn't have a specific output, it has multiple outputs. We don't want that. All right, let's look at another way how to represent functions. Ordered pairs take an input and an output and just put them in this notation. The first number is always regarded as the input, and then the second number is the output, what happens after you apply the function to the input. So for example, this function applies a rule of sending 1 to 2, it sends 3 to 6, and it sends -2 to 5. You could also represent this with the dots and arrows like this. It's fairly simple, but gets the same point across. Now, what would make something like this not a function is if we say added in three 7. Because that means that 3 is being assigned the value of 6 with the function, and then the function is also assigning the value of 7 to 3. So that means when we plug in 3, we get 2 different outputs. Remember, we want an input to produce 1 output. All right, let's look at actual function notation.